Yeah, so the last thing I was talking about is the time when it's time to push wigs back. Now, okay, like I said, Obama, first tranny or whatever, signed a lot of executive orders, but the whole time I thought they were going to use them with him. Little did I know that they were all waiting for Biff. And the crazy thing about Biff is on The Sopranos when AJ was like, yeah, I want to be a helicopter pilot for Donald Trump. And this is literally like 2006, you know? Now, you can look on money from like mid-90s, early 90s. You flip it a certain way, you see the towers burning, you know? They plan stuff a long time in advance. But again, a day in the Lord is 1,000 years, 1,000 years is a day. Neanderthal does the best that they can do with 150 years of planning. And the dude that founded the KKK, he's got a statue right in front of the DC courthouse. You know, Albert Pike, 33-degree Mason, aka fellatio artist. You know, but and again, burning crosses, that comes from Constantine. In this sign we shall conquer. We envision a burning cross, okay? So never think that all roads do not lead to Rome, okay? All roads lead to pedophile city, and they're desensitizing you to it. Hegelian dialectic. They talk to you about pedigate. Like the fact that people can say pedigate. And in another news, the Rams won by 15 points yesterday. Like, are you kidding? You see how they desensitize you to the fact that pedophilia is a normal thing in the controlling elite, let alone people who make $8 an hour. But again, that's hegemony. That's the whole point of hegemony. It's like what you do. It's like The Thing. There's a movie called The Thing. And actually, Alex Jones, he did make a reference to this before. Because what The Thing does is once it attacks you, you become the thing. And then it's almost like in The Matrix, when Agent Smith, once he touches you, and you become him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it makes it so much easier. That's the Hegelian dialectic. They're gradually turning you into them. Because that's the only way that they can have dominion over you. Because if you recognize how vile they are, you would subsequently recognize that you want to have nothing to do with anything that they do, let alone any mannerism of their malignant Neanderthal thought process, okay? And then when you talk about thought, you got to talk about the Greek word thoth, okay? And look at the desensitization. They've made you think that thought is a bad word now. Now you associate the word thought with a promiscuous woman, okay? But thought is derived from the Greek word thoth, which is derived from the Kemetic word Jehudi, okay? When we talk about Jehudi, that's where the whole concept of Judah comes from. Then you got to talk about the line of Judah. And when you talk about Jehudi, you have to talk about how Haru defeated Set. Haru defeated Set through, he tried to fight, aka he tried to push wigs back, whatever. But that doesn't work. It was a standstill. And as long as there was a standstill, Set was still winning by default because Haru wasn't winning. So if Haru's not winning, Set's winning. Satan, get behind me. You know, that's what it said in the New Testament. Satan, get behind me. But then, you know, if you don't allow the lower self to be subordinate to the...
May I have attention, please?
What's the word?
Kim leaving her iPhone in the Welcome to Las Vegas store near gate E34. Please return to identify and claim your property. Agent Kim leaving her iPhone in the Welcome to Las Vegas store. Please return to identify and claim your property.
All right, so look, here's the point. And I just noticed I'm wearing a Saturn hat. Romans call it Saturnalia. Saturn is where you learn lessons, life lessons, you know? It's the function of the Neanderthal. So that Moors can have the life lesson that the lower self, if you're gonna be in the lower self, then whatever, then Neanderthals are just gonna rule over you for a few thousand years. You know, I mean, might as well, right? Because you want it to be your lower self. So let the best version of lower self really take the steering wheel, you know? So that being said, lower self is no longer an option. It's no longer an option. It's just not an option. And that's how Haru defeat Set through Jehudi, okay? Jehudi is like wisdom, like, and again, thought, Jehudi. Imagine if you're thinking really base thoughts, really selfish thoughts, really jealous thoughts. You're not embracing, that's the opposite of Jehudi. That's like anti-Jehudi, you know? That's anti-thought. So you have thoughts and you have anti-thoughts. So in the future I'm gonna say thoughts and anti-thoughts. A thought is something positive, constructive. An anti-thought is something negative and destructive, okay? So based on the synagogue of Satan controlling the media, and back to earlier, because I mentioned the medium from one body of land to another, across the water, you need a bridge. Their medium for your innocent child is the television, giving them images of Neanderthals all day while you're back at the plantation trying to make $12 an hour so you can pay your bills and have like $36 left. And while you're out, they go to school to be taught a bunch of lies, and then when they listen to music, it's a bunch of really base, materialistic, like for example, Dr. Boyce Watkins, he made a reference to the fact that Beats by Dre headphones, they literally cost no more than like $12 or $13 to manufacture, but yet they sell them for like $300, okay? So in the fact that you're so materialistic that you can't see the science of materialism as just the fundamental raw product in itself, which in itself is no more or less valuable than the will of the people that possess those particular raw materials to give them to you, which is why those people are intentionally starved through malicious entities like the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund and other entities that are designed to rape Al Kebilan of all of its resources and give people little to nothing, and have droughts and have people starving. I mean, this is really life or death right here. It's life or death. And like I said, we already function collectively as a unit, but in a death paradigm. Like I said, me and the sun, we're going to be Shaq and Kobe times a trillion, times infinity, so that we can ascend to a life paradigm, okay? A life paradigm, okay? Within which we objectively acknowledge, yeah, all these resources are in Congo, Sierra Leone, etc., 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 etc. We objectively realize just as much as we as melanated beings are powered by the sun, so can any other form of electricity. We can acknowledge that Nikola Tesla reverse engineered the main power source in Kemet, Kema'at, which was the biggest pyramid at Giza, which before had a gold capstone, because gold is a perfect conductor of electricity, and it was wireless electricity. And there's images on the walls of Kema'at, you know? So, I mean, whenever anybody thinks that society went from something primitive to something advanced, that's just the biggest lie, like, of all time. Civilization was so much more advanced, maybe 8,000 years ago, you know, more than that. When you talk about Atlantis, even the Greeks talk about Atlantis, you know? And the Greeks, for any potential viewer who is like, see, dudes that think that they can portray themselves as females, you know? The war on ISIS, it is what it is, okay? But here's the point. It's the war on nature, okay? When we perceive the world through a capitalist lens, aka hegemonic lens, all of a sudden, people with money are the most important people, aka people that don't have money are the least important people. The irony of which, the people that don't have money are, by nature, the wealthiest people, okay? It's for the babies, really. We can't have our children. I mean, Marvin Gaye, Save the Babies, like, come on, man, save the babies. Save the babies. Pout Nature can teach you that Sebek looks both ways. Looks that way and that way, you know? It's like, it's the Javan, man. Google Javan, Javan. And the Sierra Ducatizi talks about that. But, what's it called? Imagine you say Operation Iraqi Freedom. You say that. You open your mouth to say that. So that little silly people that, and I said earlier, that are two paychecks away from poverty, two paychecks away from a homeless shelter. So that those people, they don't have enough time to mentally process what was said versus what's done on the ground, let alone the fact that the media is intentionally structured to not even make you aware of what's really actually happening on the ground. They don't tell you that a third of all the soldiers are raping women in Iraq. They don't tell you that part about the third of all the soldiers raping women in Afghanistan. They didn't tell you that part, you know, because all of a sudden you might not call them heroes anymore, and all of a sudden they might not support the troops. That's like, yo, that's like an anorexic 600-pound person. That makes no sense. How do you support the troops? Troops, they follow orders, okay? From whom? From executives like Biff and Bush and Obama and the generals, okay? So effectively, when you say support the troops, you got to follow the chain of command. When you say support the troops, you say support Biff, you say support Obama, you say support Bush, support Clinton, whatever their policies were, you say support them, okay? And then who controls them? These people are nothing but puppets on the string for the big money on Wall Street, Goldman Sachs. So when you say support the troops, you say support Goldman Sachs, okay? That's the science, okay? But through Sebek, they can trick you through words. That's why you have to know the tree of life so that you can get out of Sahu and embrace Ab, which is where you exist from a heart frequency. And all of a sudden, when you become responsible from a heart level, you don't feel comfortable doing certain things. Like a businessman, he can know that his product is defective, but as long as he makes his money back and makes a profit, he can care less who's maliciously affected by that defective product, okay? However, a businessman with his heart open and he sees something that's wrong with his product, because of his conscience, because it puts a weight on his heart, okay? Tia ma'at, okay? A world balanced by ma'at, okay? Word to ma'at, okay? His heart will prevent him from defrauding people, okay? Like right now, Biff in the White House, he can't even finish 3 sentences without contradicting himself in like half the sentence, you know? Why? Because they actually prepared. Oh my God, I can just talk forever. Might as well, my flight's not for like fucking 15 hours. But here's the point about people who can just talk and talk and talk. If you know about Sebek, then you can't fall for their words. You know, if you know about etymology, you definitely can't fall for words. Because you're like, okay, time out. I actually know what that word means. So you can't talk to me as if I'm 2 years old, you know? And another song, They Shackle You With Shekels. I'm gonna make that song, They Shackle You With Shekels. Who's they? The people that killed 100,000 Sephardi children 3 years after they supposedly escaped a genocide that was financed by one of their own, okay? When 6 million people never even existed because there weren't even 3.9 million of them at the time in Europe, okay? But whatever. I told you 1 + 1 is 14 because they have a media that's designed to tell you 1 + 1 is 14. And they program it in your head so much, you're like, fuck it, 1 + 1 is 14. I'm not even going to second guess that shit, okay? So look, they shackle you with shekels, okay? A dog in the corner is going to bite. They want you to bite because they have legally authorized murderers called police that specifically, like the one police officer from Baltimore, he admitted everything. He said, yo, look, they tell us, don't go to the wealthy neighborhoods. Don't worry about some soccer mom who's going 5 miles over the speed limit. No, go to the ghetto. Go to the ghetto. You guys are plantation overseers. You know that's where you came from in the first place. That's the whole reason police were designed to oversee enslaved Moors, okay, who were socially conditioned to think that they were black, which is a legal status for the bottom of the totem pole, okay? The original white man is the Moor. The white is a legal status for a sovereign, okay? And again, like I said, my palest albino is lighter than any of them. White is effectively a legal status. But I was coming to a conclusion. Pout Nature study Pout Nature, so that if Sebek can no longer control you, then all of a sudden Ab is waiting for you. Because words are like the final prison. Words, that, and Pastor Porkchop putting $1 billion in Bank of America every week. That too. Because all of a sudden they can't shackle you with shekels when $10 billion of lending power is available in the Moorish community on a weekly basis. And that's just Pastor Porkchop. That has nothing to do with the members of that congregation deciding to take all their money out of PNC and Bank of America and Wells Fargo. Are you kidding? So, I mean, imagine Moors took $20 billion out of PNC and Wells Fargo and Bank of America, and they put it in a Moorish bank. 20 billion, you multiply that times 10, that's $200 billion of lending power, all available to the Moorish community, okay? What that means is that some disrespectful French rape victim from North Africa, he can't have a bodega in your neighborhood because you have too much self-respect to go into his bodega, okay? So that means that you're gonna go to a Moorish-owned institution and you're gonna spend all your money with them. Where are they gonna get their food from? From Moorish-owned farms. Am I talking about farms that are bombarded in chemtrails? No, I'm talking about indoor hydroponics, whatever. If you gotta do the lamps so you can grow the food inside, whatever. That's nothing. That's nothing but a thing. Don't talk about it, be about it. Let's be about it, okay? So I'm talking about us being about our liberation. Marching, like, I heard, first of all,
Please return to the Hudson News Store.
Trevor Noah is a sodomite. Trevor Noah is a sodomite. He had the little comedian senator, Macaroni Imposter Jew, on his show, and he made sure to say New World Order at least 2 or 3 times, okay? So then he goes to have an interview with another sodomite named Van Jones, you know? And these 2 sodomites are talking to each other as if it wasn't all pre-scripted, you know? And then he's talking about, oh, well, you know, marching, it might have its purpose. No, it has no fucking purpose except for, like, what's it called? Calisthenics, you know, aerobics, no other functionality of marching, you know? What you need to do is march or just walk. You can walk. In fact, while you're walking, put on your headphones and listen to Erykah Badu's song, Time's a Wasting. You know, there's no time like right now. That's why they call the present a present, because it's a gift. It's a gift that can be used or misused, you know? And if you misuse that present, then you might as well never even have it, you know? And if you might as well never even have a present, then what does that mean? You might as well be dead, you know? Really. Which means you are the walking dead if you don't embrace the gift of this present, okay? And if you embrace the gift of this present, because time's a wasting, and go put your money in a Moorish-owned bank, all of a sudden, that anguish that comes from financial insecurity, it just goes out the window, okay? And all of a sudden, you get really selective about where you are at all times. And you might decide, you know what, that particular Moorish bank, it might decide to finance neighborhoods. I'm talking acres. 40,000 acres here, 60,000 acres there, 70,000 acres there, 20,000 acres here, 400 acres there, whatever. Communities where every business is Moorish owned, and they have no right, no Neanderthal will have any place in your community. And your Second Amendment right will make sure that if they even think about crossing a certain line, wigs get pushed back legally. You see what I'm saying? See why you don't have to go stop being a Crip and decide you want to kill police now? No. Let me tell you how you kill police. You kill their power by empowering Moorish financial leverage, okay? And let me tell you the definition of Moorish financial leverage. The International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, they cease to exist. Anything Al-Kebulan needs, Al-Kebulan, anything you need, we got you. Anything you need. And the irony of that is anything we need, we know that y'all got that, you know? So, you know, that's good business. That's good business. Now, the only other thing is that Obama, his whole presidency, other than making everybody think that they lived in Happyville for like 30 seconds just so they could forget how much they were ready to rebel against Bush, and then boom, you get fucking Biff. You know what I'm saying? You get president, grab him by the pussy, you know? Fuck it, you know? I mean, once you're in a state that's so ignorant, I mean, again, evil, look, the Bible says hell and destruction have no limits. It's like the sea. You can see it, but you can't see its end, you know? But that's how love works. Love has no limits either. You can see the beginning, you can't see the end of, you know? So it's like either way, it's your choice, you know? It's 2 doors. Which one do you want to walk through?